Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you are in the world, because we have viewers all over the world. Welcome to the Real Talk with Lucy. Hey, I know that this will be uploaded on YouTube, on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We are bringing to you, Unplanned Pregnancy Part 2. Remember, we promised and we are here to deliver. We've covered so much informative point in our last session, and we decided that we have to come with part 2 because we did not cover everything. Guys, whoo! We have the best in the house. We have the best guest. So please chill at home. Just get yourself some coffee, some juice while you're catching up on this video because it's so informative, and we're making sure that it teaches someone, which is the most important thing. So last week we were talking about unplanned pregnancy. Remember, I'll just bring the points just to recap before we actually start. Remember, we're talking about unplanned pregnancy. Even married people, single people, teenagers, they do experience unplanned pregnancy. And we mentioned a bit about a support structure in our part 1, but we did not get into details. And today we are talking about the support structure in details. And mainly we're talking about how to support the teenage girls who are pregnant, because it looked like it's a responsibility of a teenage girl while it is not. But hey, just chill at home. Before I introduce my special guest, let me turn off my music so things are clear, very clear. So help me welcome our special guest for this afternoon in South Africa, Sis Joey Dlamini. She is a social worker, qualified social worker. She is an author. Guys, she is doing so many things, and she has her own foundation. But I want her to introduce herself, just to tell you guys who she is. And some of you were sending me DMs asking, who is this powerhouse lady? We want to know about her. And at the end of this show, we'll make sure that we give you all the social media handles so that you can follow her. So over to you, Sis Joey. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm super excited about today.
Hi, hello everyone. Thank you so much for inviting me again, and thank you for coming up with a plan. I was really disappointed that we could not continue on that day, but here we are again. So I'm a mom of 3, 2 boys, 1 girl. I'm married to the love of my life, my mumuzela. I'm a sister, I'm a friend, I'm someone who loves serving. I love serving in different organizations with different women. And most importantly, I truly believe that the youth is the future. So that is why through my organization, through everything that I'm doing, I'm trying to invest in them. Hence today's topic about unplanned pregnancy. I just want to remind them that despite you being pregnant, you still have a future, and there are people out there who are rooting for you. And I'm so excited when I see Lucy doing amazing things. Like I always say that what I have achieved, it is nothing compared to what the generation that is coming behind me, they are going to achieve. So you are the generation, Lucy, and I'm saying I am here, use me. I'm here to support you. I'm here to support all of you out there, because really it's on us. So we are starting the foundation. You guys, you must run with the baton.
Wow, that's so good. Wow, thank you so much. We need a lot of people to support. At times we just need support, to start all of these initiatives. And a lot of youth at home, they have mind-blowing ideas, but they don't have people who are cheering for them, people who are rooting for them, people who are telling them, you can do this. At times, just that simple message, you can do it, Lucy. It feels so good. Like, oh yes, someone believes in me. I can do it. Wow, thank you so much. There's one thing I've noticed that we have in common: the heart to serve. Wow, that's it hurts so hard. Anything that people identifies me, it's serving. When it comes to my community, I would lay my life for community work. It's so close to my heart. And seeing amazing women doing exploits like yourself, it's encouraging us to even push even harder. So thank you so much for joining us. So before we start, unplanned pregnancy. You know, we tried to unpack the term last week, but I would
Yes,
like
yes.
you briefly, because now we have no disturbance. It's just the two of us. It's
Yeah.
so quiet. So if you we can
Okay.
we can start there before we talk about the teens and how we can involve boys in this conversation. You know, let's just start talking about this unplanned pregnancy. It's such a complex term that is
Yeah.
misunderstood, that is associated with failure. The society is just pushing you away. Church is pushing you away. It's like you win. You're having a child, especially if
Yeah.
you're not married, and especially
Yeah.
if you're a teen. So let's just
Yeah.
unpack, this complex term before we can get into details. Over to you.
Okay. So as I have said, and you are right, most of the time society, when they hear unplanned pregnancy, they assume that you must be single or you are still a child. But the truth is that this can also happen to married people, because I even shared an example that most of us, when we fall pregnant, most of the time we are not really as ready as we think we are, because sometimes we check financially. You might be ready financially, or you might check your age that, okay, I'm at the right age. But sometimes we forget to check psychologically, emotionally, are you ready for that responsibility?
Mhm,
So
mhm.
I think we should have workshops before we even have kids, where you are taught, you are coached, and you are even counseled on the responsibility that you are about to take. Kahuru, most of the time we think that we are ready, but guys, parenting is another ball game. And instead of society shaming people for having kids, we should try to support people and teach them and educate, give them information. Because the reality is that in theory, you can think you are ready, but practically, it can be a completely different experience. So, unplanned pregnancy is not for single people only. Even married people, it can happen to them.
Wow, I like that. Even married people, guys, let's just remove that stigma. Unplanned pregnancy, like, woo, that's definitely a teenage.
No.
You know, it gets so complicated in a marriage situation to think
Yes.
about it, that now, yes, we married, but we did not plan this child, and the child is here. And at times the husband might blame the wife. Why didn't you take your contraceptives? So you are not doing your part as the wife.
Yeah.
Remember, we have to plan to have these kids, even though we're married, but we can't just have kids like we're having apples or oranges or fruits per se, because kids
Yeah.
are expensive, which I find it's a bit not fair. Whose
No, it's really,
responsibility is it to make sure that in a marriage union, we're saying now we're having kids. We know that God has a final say. You can take
yes, yes,
contraceptives and still be pregnant. It's very possible.
yes.
But if it happens and the husband is blaming the wife, what happens? Whose responsibility is it?
I think ideally our society has made it seem as if the planning or the decision of having a child, it lies with the woman. So you will hear people saying, like, immediately when a girl child starts having their menstruations, people will want to send them for prevention. They will be like, you must have contraceptives, you must go and get the injection and all these different things. But the boy child is not given the same responsibility. No one is saying to the boy child, now that you are 13 years old, it means that you can make someone else pregnant. And because of that, you need to abstain from having sex because you are not ready to be a parent. So the society as a whole, they make it seem as if it's the woman's responsibility. And somehow as women, we have accepted that for so long that it is our responsibility. We never even question it. Some women never really question it, and especially in the marriage. And if you are a Christian, because Christians will tell you that the Lord said, be plenty and multiply. It is biblical. But the reality is that taking care of kids, it is not easy, especially if we want to raise kids who are whole, kids who know who they are, kids who are supported not only financially, but emotionally. You know, we want to raise kids who don't have to heal from their childhood. So it's going to need us to change certain things. And one of them is that it is not on the women to make sure that they don't fall pregnant. If you as a guy, you are not ready to be a father, it is on you to make sure that that lady does not fall pregnant. You can't be saying, how, baby, I thought you took your pill. No, if you really want her to take a pill, make sure, buy them. Make sure that at 7 o'clock or whatever you remind her, did you take your pill? It shows that you are involved, and it will also give her that impression that, okay, this guy is really serious. He's not ready for a baby now. But then when we are together and you are like, it's okay. So I'm going to be saying, okay, maybe he says he doesn't want to, but he wants to. So guys must also take responsibility, whether you are married or not. It can't be on a woman to carry all this burden, you know, because it's a burden sometimes.
Absolutely, it is a burden. I like the fact that you're actually breaking it down from a very young age, that it starts there as boys and they grow up with this mentality. So, guys, as parents at home, please make sure that you start training the boy child from a very young age so that when they are fathers, they don't give us headaches, guys. Please. Let's make the next generation life easier so that they don't go through what we went through
Yes.
or what we are going through. I really like that. So, the next part of this talk show, which is more interesting. So, when we talk about unplanned pregnancy, as a social worker now, yes, we are bringing that cap. Guys, we have been qualified social worker in the house. So, we have to bring those caps, hey? Yeah, absolutely. There are so many factors that are affecting people to be where they are. We know there are
Yeah.
circumstances, there are situations. People are going through so much, guys. We have to admit that. But at times, when you're standing far from the situation, we tend to judge people because we don't know what's
Yeah.
going on. But when you really get into investigating their daily life, and as you guys as social workers, you have an opportunity at times to engage with them, to try to understand what are the factors that contributed for you to be in that situation. Because I believe, guys, all of us, you can't just wake up one day and say, I'm doing this, I'm doing. Come on,
Yeah.
there are always underlying factors. So I want us to
Yes.
unpack, especially for teenagers, I want us to unpack all these underlying factors that at times it's such an unfortunate event that some kids they end up with kids, even they're 18, but they have 3 kids already.
Yeah.
And you ask yourself, why did you go back again? And they didn't ask for it. At times it's the rape. At times
Yeah. Yeah.
it's very complex, guys. At times, the situations are very complex. I've had a lot of stories. I mentioned in the part one that I did my honest research in teenage pregnancy, and the mentality I started the research was like, hey, these guys are so active, they're having sex like this. So that was the mentality, like, you guys, what you're doing is so wrong, you're just having sex, why can't you abstain, especially you born again, why you have a child? I came with a judgmental mentality,
Yeah.
only to find out that, hey guys, there's so many factors at home, things, some people are
Yeah.
dysfunctional. Yes. So they're trying to cover that pain of being dysfunctional with sleeping with different guys. They end up having sex. They end up having HIV. They end up having kids. Yo, it's complex. Let me not um say a lot.
No, it's
I have a
fine.
guest. I have a guest, guys. Let me calm down. I talk a lot, so I have to calm down so I can hand over to you and you unpack for us.
Yeah.
It's quite fascinating for me because
No, I
I'm so
understand.
judgmental. It breaks my heart. How can we win people over to God when we are so judgmental? When God says, come as you are, who are we to judge?
No, I understand why you felt like that, because the reality is that it's very easy to judge if you are not in that situation, or if you don't take the time to talk to that person. So the reality is that, especially in South Africa, most of people from South Africa, they come from previously disadvantaged areas, even they are still disadvantaged. So for a child who might not have certain resources, it's very easy for them to end up having teenage pregnancy, because you don't have people who are supporting you. You don't have people who are guiding you, who are showing you what's possible out there. When you are really at home and you feel like, even if I go to school, what's the point? My parents don't have money to take me to varsity. I remember when I was doing my matric, I was really not studying. My friends were studying, they were cross-nighting, they were doing all these things. I even speak about it in my book. But I was not doing that. I was studying, but I was not studying as much as I should have. And the reason was that I knew that my mom was a domestic worker. I knew that she did not have the money to take me to varsity. So it was like, what's the point? Why am I putting all this effort? Because at the end of the day, I know that I'm not going somewhere. So sometimes it's a matter that kids out there are feeling hopeless. Kids out there, they feel like there is no one who cares about them. They don't know about the different opportunities that are out there. They don't have people who are supporting them, even when they are at schools. Unfortunately, sometimes they have teachers who do not care, teachers who are not going to motivate them to do better, motivate them and encourage them that you can be something else. So as a result of that, you will end up seeking love and approval from the wrong places. And also, as parents, some of us, we never learned how to love our kids or support them in the way that they will feel it, because that was never modeled to us. Most of us, we have a lot of unlearning to do because of how we were raised and the society that
I'm not sure what's going on. It's like I'm losing you this side again. No way.
So before we can deal with teenage pregnancy, we need to deal with.
I hear you.
Is it fine now?
Yes, it's fine now. I was like, not here. Woo! It can't. Yes.
Okay, but did you hear the whole comment?
Yes, yes. When you're talking about teenage pregnancy now, you came back.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, so I was saying that everything, it must start with us as a society, as adults. We need to go back to our core and understand, what are we doing wrong? What is it that we need to change?
Wow, I like that. You touch on learning and unlearning. When it comes to unlearning, we have an issue. People, they love holding what they know. There is something you posted which was so profound. Guys, I'm a huge follower, all right? I read, like, the first thing when I go on my Instagram, I go to a timeline to check what did she post today. So she
Thank
posted
you.
something so profound about, the learning part. Oh, guys, some people, yes, when we grow up, you were told that you do 1, 2, 3, and 4, and all of that. But now we have grown. When do you take your time now and reflect and embrace what you
Yeah.
want? You choose now. This is the Lucy I choose. Okay, you guys, thank you
Yeah.
for raising me this way. Thank you so much. But now there are values and there are standards that I'm developing in this process. And it's okay to embrace and unlearn the things you've learned. It's okay to say, you know what, now
Yeah.
I'm deciding to learn 1, 2, 3, and 4. And this person was so judgmental, was like a robot. Whatever I know, it's what I know. I don't want to learn about anything else. I don't care what you're saying. I'm not interested in what you say. It's what I know. I knew this thing for a very long time, all my life. How can I change now? We have those attitudes. Guys, it's so important to unlearn and relearn some things. There's some things you need to relearn, things you have forgotten. You're like, okay, that's not important. So
Yes.
as you are growing, it's important to just sit down and take, this works for me inside the box, this doesn't work for me out of the box. And try to create your own self, create your own values, create your own standards, create your own norms, because the society is
Yes.
messed up, totally
Yes.
messed up. And if you stick to what the
Absolutely.
society is giving us, It's really messed up. Society, if we can discuss the social issues and we discuss how the society has changed, has
Yeah,
labeled things, it'll take us the whole day. It's a topic for
yeah,
another day, unfortunately, but it's something to think about. As we are discussing, I want you to keep on reflecting, like, who's Lucy actually? It's like I'm just standing. Even I've actually noticed this, even when it comes to religion. What you were taught as a
yeah,
child growing up, you get to that level of revelation
yeah,
yourself, to discover God yourself, to discover the word of God, to discover him yourself, that personal encounter. And what you were taught at times, you go like, all right,
mm,
this is what I'm taking out of my box. I'm adding this encounter in my box. So guys, in all spheres of your life, learn to do that. You will thank Lucy one day, please. Yeah. So yes, we're talking about the social issues, guys, and we can't step away from that. For an example, we have a child who's in the informal settlement, and someone rapes you in the process. Not even someone, your uncle or someone very close to you, rapes you. And you get to a point of, okay, you are pregnant now, you are confused, you are 15 years old, you are telling your parents, this person is raping me. No one believes you.
mm,
Guys, the reality is, even mothers, they do not believe their.
yeah,
you know, there's one thing I always tell people, guys, I have to confess. If someone comes to me and say, I've been raped, I believe you on the go. Okay? I believe you, I validate you, unless you are proven otherwise, because we know that there are people who have been alleged of
yeah, yeah,
accusing people of rape while it did not happen and all of that. I believe you until proven otherwise. I cannot live with
yeah,
myself knowing that there is a young girl or there is a
mhm,
young adult who came to me one day and I did not believe you, only to find out that yes, you were really raped. Imagine, how would you feel? It's like you're part of those rapists now, because you support
yeah,
them. Indirectly, you support them, and you're saying, what? I support what you guys are doing indirectly. So, guys, please just believe them. Listen, have an ear, let them tell you, and then you advise, go to the police, go to the hospital, all the procedures that they can do. Just be there. And some, they just want you to listen. So, in this case, you are in this informal settlement. You are pregnant. No one believes you. You feel like, what? I just have to take my life. These kids, they go through so much. They get to a point of, what? There's no meaning in this life. No one believes me.
yeah,
Oh, you're still here. I just saw Jay. Okay, she's here. No one believes you. What do you do as a young teenager? And some of them, we don't know where the social workers, maybe this informal settlement is in Kagiso. I don't know where to go from Kagiso. I know there's a social development in Joburg CBD, and I don't even know how to I don't know how to access help, especially in such cases. I know social workers play a huge role in South Africa in trying to assist and trying to step in and trying to intervene. Some of them, they come as far as coming to your family and try to talk to your parents and all of those steps. Please, take us through. And I know I've said a lot.
no, it's fine. So,
I'm the host.
yeah, no, I hear what you're saying. So, the reality is that sometimes it's not easy to get access to those services that can help you. But even at the police station, they have their own social workers. So sometimes people think that I'll go to the police station only to report a case, but even there, you can ask for their own social workers.
Wow,
Then,
I didn't know.
no, they have social workers, they have their own social workers. So there is Childline, it's for free, especially if you still have those old telephones, or most of the people, we have cell phones. So you can contact the Childline. There are counselors there who are always available. So you can just talk to them. And I believe that as churches, we still have church where people can go to. There are still churches where you can find help. You don't really need to share everything, but there are pastors out there who are willing to listen. They might not agree with your decisions, but they are going to support you. And for me, I was raised in a generation where teachers really helped. They are good teachers. I think the problem with us is that we want to paint everyone with the same brush. But the truth is that we are all individuals. We are all individuals. We need to remember that. So as you are coming for a service with someone and you know, like for example, home affairs, people will complain about home affairs, but there is a possibility that you can get Lucy working at home affairs who has a good work ethic. So when approaching people, don't approach people from with a negative mindset already. Give people a chance and let them prove themselves. So there are many, like your teachers, your principal, there are SGBs, there are counselors, especially in the informal settlements. There are counselors. You can go to them and ask them to refer you to someone else who can help you. Even our local clinics, even at schools, some schools have social workers and counselors within some of the schools. But the point I'm trying to bring across is that there is help available for you. You just need to seek it. You just need to ask, because sometimes you just ask one person and they are not really doing that thing. But because you have asked them, they will be able to check and ask around, hey, I have someone like this, how can you help them? And most of us, we have seen the power of social media, how people will find help on social media. Like people will find donations, they will donate for causes that we don't even know, just because they were shared on social media. The most important thing, what I want them to get, is that ask for help. You are not going to get it until you ask for it. And don't be ashamed for the fact that you need help. There is nothing wrong with needing help. All of us, we need help in different circumstances. So ask for help, then help will come to you.